All right, Robert Lentini here for another edition of the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. We're going to be covering the October 23rd episode of AEW Dynamite in Salt Lake City. And holy fuck, that show sucked. That's my initial thoughts. We're going to go over it segment by segment because this is one of those shows where it just highlights what I can't stand about AEW, and I think other people like it, like for these reasons, and I'm just clashing. But the ending of this show just encapsulates everything that's wrong with AEW to me, and we'll get to that. We're going to start off with Hangman Page. He kicked off the show after Jon Moxley's Blackpool Combat Club video promo where they quoted Hot Fuzz and said they're doing this for the greater good. Great. So anyways, Hangman Page walks down to the ring with his menacing mustache and his new entrance music. He's interviewed by Tony Schiavone. Schiavone asks one question. Hangman shoves him away. He boasts about beating the shit out of Austin Gunn. Colton Gunn, who I don't think anybody recognized, attacked Hangman from behind. No pop, no reaction, nothing. Jay White shows up. They're continuing that feud. It's already ruined for me. You had Hangman Page lose to Jay White at AEW Wrestle Dream. Jay White then follows up that big victory with a loss to Christian Cage last Wednesday night in the main event of Dynamite because Hangman interfered. So you're going to do this match again. Jay White's not getting a big reaction. Hangman is because people know him, but he's a menacing heel now. I don't. Where do you go here? Do you give Hangman his win back? So what was accomplished with this feud with Hangman Page and Jay White? I said it initially. We were talking about it on the show. Like, where's the end game? I don't like the match. I like both stars in the match. I just don't like the match because why would you hand Hangman Page a loss? Why would you want to hand Jay White a loss right now? There's plenty of people on that roster. As we saw tonight, there was 2 squash matches on this episode of Dynamite with already established talent. 2 squash matches to get over already established talent. So you can put Jay White in a squash match against, Harry whoever and move on with our lives. I don't understand why we're continuing this feud. I don't understand the 50-50 booking of it. I don't understand what's going on here. I'm more angry about the ending of the show than I am about Hangman Page versus Jay White. It will be a fine feud. I just think it's a waste of both guys because they should be stars and just should be helping build other people. They're just tearing each other down and just canceling each other out. I don't get it. It's just holy shit. Oh, but anyways, the following segment was by far the best part of the night. Kyle Fletcher came down to the ring with Don Callis with his crazy blonde haircut, sunglasses. He looks like a star, and he cut an epic promo. I thought this promo was excellent. He explained that people thought he was going to be the next big thing, and then when Will Ospreay came to AEW, they all of a sudden started saying he's going to be the next Will Ospreay. He said he doesn't want to be anything like Will Ospreay, and it just brought up Ospreay in New Japan and how he screwed over Kenny Omega and used a screwdriver, all this shit, all the backstory that I've been wanting for a long-ass time. We got it. And then, all of a sudden, he decides to start shaving his head, which is, this is like the AEW part of, where AEW just inserts themselves in here and makes it ridiculous for no reason. He starts shaving his head in the middle of the ring. Don Callis had a razor in his pocket because, of course, he did. He held it up. I got a razor, guys. Like, okay. And Kyle Fletcher starts shaving it, and people are like, what is going on here? So he shaves 22% of his head tops. He looks ridiculous, looks like a psychopath, and poses in the ring. But overall, I love this promo because it explained Kyle Fletcher's decision to betray Will Ospreay. He wants to be nothing like Will Ospreay, and he thinks he can take the company farther than Ospreay can. And in order to do that, he has to be the exact opposite of him. That's why he shaved his hair. Shaved his head. We'll see what he looks like when he gets it fully shaved up. I like the wacky Fletcher hairdo, but I think a more serious look is appropriate here. There's like 4,000 heels in All Elite Wrestling, though. It's getting insane. Every champion is a heel. That's been floating around social media. Every single champion is a heel, and we got another heel champion crowned tonight. Just some of the decisions tonight. Aside from that Kyle Fletcher promo, which I will praise till my face is red. I love that Kyle Fletcher promo. That is what I'm looking for. Could have lived without the shaving of the head. That seemed a little tacked on and weird. And why Don Callis just has a razor, whatever. Could have lived without that, but it was still entertaining. I love that Kyle Fletcher promo. Hurt Syndicate, they want Ricochet. Ricochet's a suit guy now. He's just in suits now, so he's probably going to be joining the Hurt Syndicate. First squash match of the night. This is where the show just went off the rails. just it never recovered. Brian Cage and Lance Archer, they're a part of the, I don't know what heel faction. There's 4,000 of them. I think they're the Don Callis family. I think Brian Cage and Lance Archer were traded with Jake Roberts in some ridiculous whatever that means nothing. But Brian Cage and Lance Archer faced two guys, the Discount War Raiders, we'll call them, the Boar Raiders. The guys that look like the War Raiders, but they aren't. They just never introduced them. Never said this is Henry and Small. You know, they never said anything. They never introduced their names. We got nothing. No graphic. Making their AEW debut, the Boar Raiders. We didn't get that. So, no reaction for Lance Archer and Brian Cage during the entrance. No reaction for Lance Archer and Brian Cage while they're hitting their power moves. No reaction for Lance Archer and Brian Cage when they beat these jobbers. I don't know what was accomplished here. Nobody got over. Nothing was accomplished. It's just a total filler match that was over in 2 minutes, and it just, I don't understand why it's on the show. That's on Rampage or something. That's on AEW Dark. If it doesn't exist, create another YouTube show, Tony, and do matches like this if you want. Moving on to the worst part of the night, or one of the worst parts of the night. The Ladder War match. Chris Jericho versus Mark Briscoe. Mark Briscoe defeated Chris Jericho of Wrestle Dream to retain the ROH World Championship. The feud was based on Chris Jericho bringing up Jay Briscoe, because Jay Briscoe passed away a couple years ago, or a year ago, whenever he passed away. A tragic accident, car accident. So Jericho used that to get under Briscoe's skin, but Briscoe overcame and retained the title. End of feud. End of feud. Nope. Let's continue it. And how are we going to continue it? Chris Jericho's going to bring up Jay Briscoe again. That's nothing new. That's the same thing. So we get to this Ladder War match. Mark Briscoe is a part of the conglomeration faction, right? He has stablemates backstage. He has people that care about him. I've seen the conglomeration all over the place. They're trying to get that faction over with Orange Cassidy and whoever the fuck else is in it. But I know that Mark Briscoe's in it. But Big Bill gets involved in this match several times, plays a part in the finish, carries Chris Jericho up the ladder, and Chris Jericho in the year 2024 is the new ROH World Champion. Where was Kyle O'Reilly? Where was anyone in the conglomeration to help Mark Briscoe? Why is Big Bill just allowed to destroy Briscoe and nobody cares about Briscoe? He has a faction. So does Chris Jericho. It's called the Learning Tree, right? Big Bill was out there. Where were the members of the conglomeration? Just a huge oversight, and it's very annoying because Kyle O'Reilly was shown watching backstage minutes later for the Adam Cole promo. So what the fuck is he... Why didn't he help his stablemate? Is the conglomeration over? I hope so, but it hasn't been explained. Just stupid. And I don't understand why we have Chris Jericho as ROH World Champion. Why are we doing ROH World Championship matches on AEW Dynamite? Just terrible. Just terrible. And then, after that, Adam Cole comes to the ring. Now, if you remember, if you watched last week, Adam Cole explained his absence. He didn't want to talk about his injury, but he explained, he said, you know, I don't like MJF. I don't like his hair, the way he talks, all that shit. But, you know, with my brothers here, the Undisputed Kingdom, Roderick Strong, Matt Taven, and Mike Bennett, I got to do this on my own. This is a personal thing. I got to do this on my own. This was said on television last week by Adam Cole. Adam Cole comes out of the ring. You know, who wants to hear story time? Excuse me. Who wants to hear story time with Adam Cole, baby? And Roderick Strong interrupts by yelling Adam, because that was funny a year ago. We got a couple chuckles out of that a year ago. So they do that again, and Roderick Strong comes to the ring, and he says that he hates MJF too, because he uses people, and he wants MJF first. Adam Cole says, you know what, you're right. And they hug it out, so they're back together. The Undisputed Kingdom is back together. Adam Cole, last week in his return promo, everybody's going to be listening to what you have to say in your return promo, said he had to do this on his own. The following week, he's back with the Undisputed Kingdom. And it gets much, much worse because then MJF showed up not in person. Oh, he will not be in person for a while. We got that tonight. That little tidbit of information tonight while MJF's getting a massage by some bombshell in a video on the Jumbotron. That's what he was doing. He's on a massage table getting a massage. And he says, oh, so you, Roderick Strong and Adam Cole, you guys both want to face me? Well, the first person to win 3 matches gets to face me at Full Gear, and I will not be in person until Full Gear. Full Gear is November 23rd, a literal calendar month away. So I don't know, 3 or 4 episodes of Dynamite without MJF to build a match with MJF in a feud, in a storyline that everybody already wanted to end last year. We got to watch Adam Cole or Roderick Strong race against each other to win 3 matches to face MJF? What? What the last week we established Adam Cole didn't want to do this on his own. Unbelievable. Just the idea that this storyline is Adam Cole and Roderick Strong are racing to win 3 matches to get the chance to face MJF, who will not be in person for the shows for a full month. Who's your biggest, what are your biggest stars? I don't know if he still is. He should be. Holy crap. How's that angle going to work out? How's that going to get people in? So we got the first match for Adam Cole announced for next week. House of Black won a squash match. It just defeated jobbers. I don't even know who the names were. I don't think they announced them again. This is like a Christmas miracle here, or a Halloween miracle, if you will. When's the last time the House of Black were on Dynamite? But after the House of Black wins the squash match, Buddy Matthews gets on the microphone and says, well, now that he's cleared, I want to face Adam Cole next week. No pop, no reaction, dead silence. Cut to Renee Paquette backstage. She goes, what do you think about that, Adam Cole? Why is Buddy Matthews calling you out? He goes, I don't know. I'll go ask him. So he walks over to him. The camera takes about 43 seconds to figure out the angle of how to get it's like they don't have markers or anything. So the cameraman's backing up, trying to get everybody into frame. Finally, Buddy Matthews gets into frame with Adam Cole. And he asks, what's the problem? You can hear kids yelling in the background in the crowd. You can hear like a Pepsi cap drop on the ground. You can hear popcorn chomps. You can hear everything. You have pin drops. It's a library. You can hear from backstage the crowd. It's insane. So anyways, he just says, I want to face you because you're fragile. So that's that. Okay, cool. But just the idea, Buddy Matthews versus Adam Cole is going to be a hell of a match. But how we got there, and the storyline wrapped around this MJF angle storyline between Adam Cole and MJF that nobody gives a shit about anymore. Everybody's done. When you can't just switch the roles of these guys, and all of a sudden Cole is a babyface and Undisputed Kingdom a babyface. This is the devil storyline. Brutal. Just brutal. We already went over House of Black. Kamille, Sasha Banks' bodyguard, Mercedes Moné's bodyguard, she faced Queen Aminata tonight. Last week, Mercedes Moné defeated Queen Aminata via submission, and Kamille did not get involved in the match at all. So just a useless bodyguard, no heat. It's just, if Moné can beat people on her own, why does she need Kamille? So this week, Kamille defeats Queen Aminata. I don't know what we're accomplishing there. Kamille can wrestle? I don't know. Moving on. Christian Cage, right after this match, he runs down to the ring. He's chasing Kip Sabian, but it's all a ploy. It's an elaborate trick here on one of the 4,000 heel factions here, the patriarchy. Christian Cage, Nick Wayne's mom, and now apparently Kip Sabian, because what happened here is Hook comes down to the ring, patriarchy, attack Taz, all that shit, and Kip Sabian hits Hook with a low blow. Christian, they all take turns beating the shit out of Hook. So Kip Sabian, who has not been relevant in forever since the arcade match with fucking Miro at Daly's place. This is the last time I remember Kip Sabian. Penelope Ford's back. She was in a relationship with Sabian. So they're both back. Great. They're not stars, unfortunately. So I don't care about Kip Sabian and Christian Cage in a faction together. And to the main event. The main event that, once again, no reaction. No reaction for the Young Bucks and Jack Perry. No reaction for Private Party. Somewhat of a reaction for Daniel Garcia. That's the 6-man tag main event. The Elite versus Daniel Garcia and Private Party. Maybe in 2021 or 2020, this would have been something. But the Elite lose to Private Party. Private Party gets a clean pinfall on the Elite, and they shouted after the match that this proves that we can beat you. And you know what? We want a rematch for the titles because the Young Bucks beat Private Party clean at Wrestle Dream. There wasn't a screwy finish. They just won the match. So I don't understand why we need to see it again, but that's apparently what AEW is doing now. We're just getting rematches. Briscoe versus Jericho, the Elite, the Young Bucks versus Private Party. It's just whatever. Private Party suggests a stipulation here. They say, if we can't beat you next week, we'll break up as a tag team. Barely any reaction. This isn't a team that people are really invested in. You drop the ball on them for 5 years. So the idea that they might break up now is kind of like, oh, okay. That's my reaction. Oh, all right. That's not a big match to me. We already saw it at Wrestle Dream, and I hope they give Private Party the titles because why not? The Elite get no reaction at all. None of them. Jack Perry, Young Bucks. You can take the titles off of all of them as soon as possible. I know they won't, but they should because nobody cares. Nobody gives a shit about the Elite. It's dead silence every time they come to the ring. But that was not the end of the show. The Young Bucks accepted that match. It's made for next week. Young Bucks versus Private Party, AEW Tag Team Championships. The show opened up with Jon Moxley and the Blackpool Combat Club. They're in their truck. They're doing stuff for the greater good. They show up in the final moments of this show. There's 2 hostile takeovers. You know, what used to be the Elite taking over the company and attacking Tony Khan. Now it's Jon Moxley's group of misfits here in a pickup truck for some reason. They show up. Final seconds. Marina Shafir is the only person that gets out of the truck. And there's a bunch of AEW stars with pipes waiting for him in the parking lot. Shafir is the only one that gets out. Blackpool Combat Club attacks Private Party and Garcia from behind. Chuck Taylor from the Best Friends with Trent, Sue's van, Orange Cassidy. Remember that Chuck Taylor? The guy who's retired? Chuck Taylor gets involved in this somehow. And Blackpool Combat Club puts a chair around his neck and Jon Moxley stomps on it. And it's like, the announcer's like, oh my God, what a horrible moment. You do angles like that with people we care about that we see on a weekly basis. Chuck Taylor has not been involved in weekly television in forever, and he's retired. Why do I care about Chuck Taylor getting attacked now? The Best Friends aren't even a team anymore. I think Orange Cassidy's in the conglomeration with Mark Briscoe. But Orange Cassidy rushes to the ring. He just missed him. He couldn't get there in time, and he's devastated. He is devastated. We're getting serious Orange Cassidy, guys. But just the idea, heading into this show, that someone said, hey, let's close it out with Chuck Taylor getting hurt. What do you think? You think the crowd will get in, I think that'll get people talking. It's Chuck Taylor. He's retired. He has nothing to do with anything. Oh, he brought Orange Cassidy or Wheeler Yuta into the company. Whatever stupid reason Excalibur just jammed in there on commentary as to why we should care about this. Oh, he brought in Wheeler Yuta as he's shouting. But yeah, just a very tough watch tonight was AEW Dynamite. But that is this episode of the Ridiculously Lame Wrestling Show. Please subscribe if you haven't, and we'll catch you guys on the next one.